Hey there, this is Dr. Pepper, and this is our show, Dr. Pepper Really, because that's what people would say when they first meet me in the office. And we're going to be delving into a very popular subject today. We're going to be talking about Ozempic, and we're fortunate to have Susie with us today, who is just beginning her Ozempic journey. And we would like to have her come back periodically to give us a heads up on how she's doing and her experiences and all that stuff that people would like to know ahead of time if they anticipate that they might want to try this, which has really taken over the public imagination. So, good morning, Susie. How are you doing?
Good morning, Dr. Pepper. Lovely to be here.
Um, so, uh, one thing that people would probably like to know is you are a nurse. Maybe you could just explain
Nurse
a little
pract-
bit about what it is you do. A nurse practitioner.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a nurse practitioner, and the field that I specialize in has to do with working with folks with both intellectual disabilities and brain injury. I also run a clinic in conjunction with a psychiatrist um, to work with psychiatric issues with that population of folks that we support.
And you've been doing that for a long time, right?
Very long time. A very long time,
Right.
since probably the early '80s, so it's been a while.
Wow. Great.
Yep,
Great.
and I'm very fortunate.
Um,
I've always loved what I do.
so today, you are a caretaker, and uh, in this case, we're looking at how you take care of yourself in terms of the weight loss issue. So I imagine you've done a few things in the past in regards to trying to lose weight. Maybe you could tell us just a little bit about that.
I'd be glad to. And interesting that you say I'm a caretaker. Caretakers, as most people know, are notorious for being really good at caring for other people and not so good at caring for themselves. And I
Right.
think that that's really relevant when it comes to weight issues in terms of a long past of struggling with weight. Things like, well, I had to stay late at work because I just couldn't leave the person I was caring for. So why not stop and pick up fast food on the way home? I don't have time to go home and stop and make a salad and, eat the healthy vegetables and the lean protein and all that. Many of us know what we should be doing. It's hard to fit it in, and caretaking is just a part of it. I'm also a mom, and that was another part of it. As a full time working mom, feeling like I don't have time to take care of me, and particularly around nutrition kinds of issues. The other thing I would say
Right.
is I love to eat, I love food. It's very soothing for me after a long
Yeah.
day. For me, there's nothing better than once the kids were in bed, this goes way back, sitting down, putting on TV, and having a piece of cake. That's what would be relaxing and make me feel good. It is a journey. I'm very excited to be on this journey. In the past, I have tried things like food that you order by mail because that felt like something that would be doable. A big bet thing would come in the mail, you put it all in the freezer, you just heat it up when you're done. That's it. With that, I found that that was helpful as long as you did it. The food was okay, not delicious. You go out with a friend for coffee, and really you still want to get a muffin with your coffee. But that was something that did work. If you tried it, it was trying to sustain it. I've tried some
Right.
of the online things that, and I've also tried traditional things where you would go for a meeting and you count points and all of that. I have not had great
Did
luck
you
with any of them.
succeed at any of those?
For the short
Were you
term,
able to succeed?
yes, for the short term, I could lose 20 pounds, but 3 months later they would be back because it was the
Mhm.
maintaining it that I found very difficult.
And why would you stop doing it? Like, if you were counting points, like what kind of things made it difficult and you decided, well, I've had enough of this.
I think it's a combination of things. It would be number one, making sure I had what I needed in the house. And that seems very simple. You just go to the grocery stores, shop the perimeter, and do all that.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be tempted in the cookie aisle. The other big part of it was I would do a lot of takeout food, being very busy. And that I know people have been very successful doing that with points. I was not. And the other
Mm-hmm.
thing is the psychological part of food being a reward and having a craving for carbohydrates. That's my go to. So, for example, in that situation, that's why over time it didn't work. Plus, I got bored.
Yeah. It gets boring to eat the same old thing all the time. And you miss your old friends,
Right.
right? Your coffee cake or what have you, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And also, I guess if you reach a goal, right? You reached, you lost 20 pounds. Maybe you felt, hey, good enough. Is that part of it?
I would have to say not so much because I need to lose more than 20 pounds. So after I didn't do it, I would kind of be really chastising myself, saying, "What's wrong with you? You tried this. Why are you undoing what you did? Why can't you keep going?" Unfortunately, the more I would do that, the more I would feel upset with myself. And as you call it, my friend, the coffee cake would make me feel better. Only for the 3 minutes it took to eat it, but it would make me feel
Right, right.
better.
Uh-huh. So, when did you decide on Ozempic?
Over the years, being overweight takes a toll. What's
Yeah.
happened in recent years is I've been blessed with grandchildren and want to have the
Hmm.
energy to chase after them and play with them and do things with them. I do it, but I'd like to
Hmm.
do a lot more with a lot more energy. So after five
Hmm.
minutes of pushing on the swings or running around the playground, I'm not the one sitting on a bench. Also, what's happened medically is that my cholesterol started going up, and I do take cholesterol medication. And the other thing that really precipitated this was blood sugar going up little by little.
Oh,
It wasn't
yeah. Hmm.
precipitous, it was over a few years that my A1C, which, as people know, measures your blood sugar over a period of about 3 months, was sort of creeping
Right.
up. And over the last year, creeping up to the point of being on the very edge of being officially diabetic. And as that
Hmm.
was happening, Ozempic was coming into the limelight, and I was reading more about it,
Yeah.
seeing more about it.
So, did social media have any influence on you, seeing what other people were putting out there about their experience?
Some of it, yes, and some of it, no. The commercials on TV make it sound like the minute you take Ozempic, a big party starts. And I know better that a big party wasn't going to start. When I read
Right.
about a lot of celebrities using it strictly for weight loss, it actually had a negative connotation. I don't want to
I
be
see.
sort of in that world where you're using
Hmm.
potentially very serious medication strictly to quote, look good, unquote. But
Yeah.
yes, reading about people's success with it absolutely had a positive effect and made me think this could be a good thing.
So,
Also, being a nurse,
did you
I
visit?
out
Uh-huh.
studies that were done that would also focus on the good parts and the potentially risky parts of taking Ozempic. So I looked at it clinically as well.
And so, did you visit a doctor and explain this to them? How did you get your start?
I did, and I'm excited. I was seen by my PCP or NP over time. That's where I get my primary care. And the last time I saw the NP and we were talking, I brought up the Ozempic with her. And to my surprise, she said, "You know what? You might be a very good candidate. Based on your weight, based on your lab results about diabetes, I'm going to refer you to an endocrinologist." and I couldn't get an appointment for 3 months. But during that
Okay.
time, I continued sort of getting pumped up, and I saw the endocrinologist about 3 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago.
And how did that go?
It went great. I was so excited. And she looked at all my labs, which were up to date, and she said she thought I would be a very good candidate as well. That I'm motivated, that from a medical point of view, she thought I was somebody between my being overweight, my motivation, and my medical status, that I could potentially really benefit from taking the Ozempic. And she prescribed it right then and there. The other thing is
Okay.
that I know people have issues with insurance, and I am of an age where I am on Medicare, and that is paying
Hmm.
for the Ozempic. I have copay, but it made it it made it accessible to me as well.
And that's because I guess you were like a pre-diabetic, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
have a
I think that was
diagnosis
probably one thing. Yes, yes, and I think I
because,
literally crossed over by one point into the qualifying. So,
right.
yes, and I had no problem
So
getting it.
just, for general interest, it's important to know that, Ozempic, for example, is not approved yet just for weight loss, but you can get approval if you have pre-diabetes, let's say, or at risk of diabetes. I'm not sure what the ongoing criteria are up to the minute, but this again is a medical treatment and needs to
Mhm.
be managed as if it were, a true serious medical issue and requires a prescription and vision by a qualified physician, or healthcare provider. So, have you gotten started yet?
I have. I went and picked it up. I saw the doctor and picked it up and gave myself my first injection a couple of days later. Um, and again,
You were
the
telling
injection
you were
part, here
telling
I
me
am.
before that you didn't know how to inject, though, right? So you had to go to YouTube to refresh your memory about injection. Is that right?
I did. And as a nurse, of
Yeah.
course, I've given injections many, many times. In my current job, it doesn't come up. And I thought, you know what? It can't hurt to sort of refresh yourself. So I did. I went to social media. I looked it up. I found what looked like a very sort of reasonable um, YouTube site that showed me how to do it. I
Yeah.
watched it first, and then I did the injection. And in
This.
actuality, it's a piece of cake, so to speak. Bad
Yeah.
analogy, but the cake part. But
But let me
it
ask
was
you
very
this.
easy.
Let me ask you this. If you had no medical background, um,
Mhm.
how difficult do you think it will be for the average non-medical person to learn how to inject themselves properly?
I think that it's surprisingly easy. The needle is super skinny and super tiny, maybe an eighth of an inch long, maybe a 16th of an inch long, really thin. And you just put it onto your skin. I chose my abdomen to do it, and you rotate around.
Right.
And it literally sort of slides in. Use a little alcohol beforehand. It's a pen. So all you do is you dial up the dose that you have, you put it on your
Right.
skin, you push a button, you hold it in for 6 seconds after that, and you're done. I
Do
do
you
think
think
it would
that
be
the
very accessible.
the physician has an obligation to show a new client who's going to use an injection what it's all about? I mean, as a physician, uh, it seems to me that that's should be part of the process, though. I'm just throwing
It
that
was
in as an
definitely
editorial.
no, I think that's a really good point, Dr. Pepper. And I didn't mention that while I was in the office, she did um, show me how you do it and
Oh, you
explained
did?
it
Okay,
all.
that's great.
She
Hmm.
did.
Okay. How long did
In
that
real life,
session last? How long did
the
your
first session,
visit last?
that visit lasted a good half hour, where
I
she
see.
went over, maybe more, maybe 45 minutes, went over all my history, my medical history, any other
Great.
medication I might take that could interact, my current labs compared to my previous labs, my motivation, options for treatment, like as opposed to taking
Well, that
an
sounds like
oral
you had a
method.
very good experience. Yeah.
Very good.
So,
But I will tell you that when I went home, I did pretty much forget everything she said about the administration part. I needed to refresh myself.
okay. Yeah, right. Uh-huh. Very common. So, how are you feeling?
So far, I'm feeling great. I'm happy that I'm doing
Okay.
this. Um, I'm
Mhm.
on, for the first month, you take a dose that is considered kind of subtherapeutic. In other words, not enough to really have an effect, um, but it sort of gets your body used to it. So I did that for 3 weeks. My fourth one will be this week, tomorrow actually. And then I start with the higher dose, which, from what I understand, is when I might see more weight loss and all that. I will say that maybe it's psychological because I'm realizing how much of weight related issues have to do with that as well. I do notice that I'm eating less. I'm not eating that coffee cake in the morning or at night since I
All
started
right.
this.
Mhm.
I feel like if I can give
Good.
myself an injection, if I can commit to this, if I can commit to a serious medication that I'm putting in my body, I've got to be
Yeah.
all in. So
Great.
have I given up completely everything and just shopping the perimeter? No. Have I made little changes? Yes. I feel fine. And I'll be interested to see what happens when I go to the higher dose.
Yeah, that's great. So that's what I'm hoping for the next time we can speak to you, that you'll be on a higher dose, that you'll be well on your way, and then you can share with us your experiences, the physical aspects of it.
Mhm.
And we'd like to keep track of you if you have time, and you can come back and we can chit chat and keep an eye on you from a
I would
distance.
love to do that, Deborah, and I appreciate your
Okay.
input and your thoughts, and I really appreciate it, and I'm excited to be doing this.
Okay, great. All right, Susie. So take care, and we'll be circling back with you in, I guess, a few weeks. Okay,
Sounds
good
good.
luck. All right,
Thank you. You
bye.
too. Have a great day. Bye.
Hi there, this is Dr. Pepper. I hope you enjoyed watching Susie starts Ozempic. This is the first in a series of interviews with Susie as she goes through her treatment with Ozempic. As a endocrinologist for 40 years, I'm amazed at some success that I've seen for individuals using this treatment, but I also am concerned that there may be unrealistic expectations that have been generated by the media by following a real person uh, under unrehearsed conditions, a person who, like Susie, has real healthcare experience. I think we all will gain a lot of insight. So we hope to see you again soon. We are a very new channel here in Videoland, and it would be great if you could put a like on this channel and maybe subscribe as well. Your comments and participation will help us a great deal in improving the quality of our production and also addressing the issues in a way that will be most helpful. So uh, please don't be shy and put a comment or a like, etc. And we hope to see you soon. Thanks a lot.